From Reigate, I'm joined now by the former Justice Minister, Crispin, who is another friend of Andrew Mitchell. If Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe was the source of these stories, that there was no evidence that police lied, should he resign?
His position is very difficult to be tenable in those circumstances. But if he made a completely clean breast of what he'd done and why he'd done it, he is a police officer with probably a very high reputation. I think in those circumstances one would then want him to continue, having learnt the lesson of putting in place the policy he set up a year ago.
So you just want him to admit it, but you don't want him to resign? Is that it?
Well, it's